What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to break down what's going on with the market, what levels you should be watching for, what you should be watching for when it comes to SPY, the QQQ, Tesla, and a couple of tickers out there. I'm also going to talk about the news that came out that's very, very big for Tesla and how this is affecting the market moving forward. Before I break anything down about all this information, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Put in $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends very soon. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, guys, so looking at the market, in the morning, I told you guys based off the technicals, the market would likely get a nice amount of downside for the day. And we got this big move to the downside for the first few hours. SPY came all the way down to 435, but then we got a nice bounce after that. And then I told you guys that at about 11:45 a.m., we would see an increase in volatility depending on what the Fed speaker said. And as the Fed speaker came out, they actually helped the market hold up quite nicely. That was Williams who was speaking, looking very optimistic about inflation going down. And then on top of that, the market just continued to hold up quite nicely. Tesla helped pump the markets too after some very bullish news came out for it. And it's continuing to hold up very, very nicely. So right now on SPY, after getting this bounce, you're going to be watching resistance right over here on the 5-minute time frame. Go to the extended hours and look at the 200 EMA. This is where SPY is fighting right now. This is the main resistance now, the 200 EMA, which is currently at about 438.27. If it manages to break and hold above this, it has the potential to retest the resistance at 439 to 440. Once again, this is not going to be as heavy resistance because in the past we broke it before. But when we first came to this like 439 to 440 area, this was tight resistance. So this time we're going to be watching if it could break above the 200 EMA on the 5-minute time frame. And I have extended hours on, by the way, so that's why it may look different on your chart if you don't have them. So always look out for those. And then on top of that, if it ends up breaking down, you're going to be watching support at the 50 EMA around this 437.12 area is going to be major support alongside VWAP at 436.64. If it breaks below VWAP, that's going to be a signal for more downside, but for now it's holding quite nicely above it. If it breaks below it, we have the chop zone around the 436.25 area. And if that breaks, it's going to likely get a retest of 435. But for now, the market's holding up. It's still trying to fight the 200 EMA, so we're going to be watching these levels very, very closely. But for now, like I said, the market is still looking pretty decent. It's very hard to get the market to tank. The market is still very strong in many ways. It did come down to 435 not too long ago, but it got bought right back up as the bulls are continuing to step in. The bulls are strong. They're not like going down easily. So please manage risks and be very careful in a market like this. Now, on top of this, not financial advice, by the way, for Tesla, this thing got a nice pump in the morning. Very, very nice pump. Then it came right back down. Tesla was getting ready to almost turn red, but then it got hit with some very, very bullish news. There was news that came out about how Tesla was, it had Rivian adopting its charging plugs, which meant that more and more companies, more and more owners of Rivian vehicles will be able to use Tesla's charging network. That's bullish news because it's going to help build more revenue for Tesla. It's continuing to give Tesla power, control over the network, and just continue to make more money for Tesla. On top of this, there was news about Elon Musk going to India, not going to India, meeting up with the Indian Prime Minister in the US, I believe. And that's some more very good news because people are very optimistic about Tesla moving forward. So some very good news came out for Tesla. It's continuing to hold up very nicely, starting to push up. The major resistance levels to be watching for are going to be around the 272 area. If it breaks above this, it could fly all the way up to 275. That's going to be the next important level. If it comes down, you're going to be watching support at 270 flat. That fails us, then watch 268 around the 268 zone, then 266.75. Then we have VWAP around 265.98. I want everyone to stay strong and please watch this on a level-to-level basis. For now, it's looking very strong. It's still holding above 270. Still looks quite good. So please, please, please be patient and watch these levels depending on what happens. AMD is still looking kind of weak, continuing to downtrend a bit, but it's trying to base around this 118 area. And I told you guys that if it broke below that 120, the levels to watch is around that 118 zone. For now, It's actually trying to hold this level quite nice. It's got a nice pop in the morning, came right back down to this 118, and now it's still trying to hold up. But the problem with this thing is it has a lot of resistance around. You can see VWAP ended up stopping it. It also got below the 50 EMA. It needs to break above VWAP for this thing to turn strong, but for now it's struggling to do so. So it's still showing some weakness, still kind of stuck in the range. NEO got some very bullish news today. Okay, we have a major country, uh, the United Emirates. They are going to be buying a 7% stake in NEO. NEO is starting to hold up because of this. A country that has almost unlimited money is buying into NEO, almost 10% of the company. They're giving it resources. They're going to be providing NEO with lots and lots of opportunity. And in my opinion, that is something very big for the long-term future. For the QQQ, you're going to be watching this resistance at 368. 368's major resistance right now. It's trying to fight. If it manages to hold above 368, it could get closer to 370. If it breaks down, watch the 5-minute 200 EMA around 367. If it breaks below that, there's 366, 365.98, which is where VWAP is. And if it breaks below that, there's 365, 363 as support. Let me just add that I have extended hours on for all of these charts, so make sure you watch these levels carefully. For now, it's holding up. Still looks pretty nice, but watch these levels carefully. Looking at the NASDAQ, same thing. It's still trying to hold up. It's about to get a little cross here, so it could drop a little bit, but it's still not looking too bad. It's kind of like losing some momentum for now, but it's not looking that bad. Could still hold up because of Tesla. The dollar being up is what caused the market, or at least played a big role in the market slowing down today initially. But the dollar is once again, it broke to the upside and got a rejection, and now it's still starting to trade sideways. Coinbase, it's green right now. Pretty good to see. Coinbase has a lot of opportunity, lots of upside potential. For Aapl, the resistance is around the 186 zone. Break above this, we're going to be watching 186.5. And if it breaks that, I mean, this thing could be making new all-time highs after that, getting closer to 187.5 again. It could be doing that if it gets a clean break above 186.5. For resistance, watch those levels. For support, watch VWAP. 185.32, and then we have the 50 EMA at 185, and then we have 185 flat. The 200 EMAs are actually at 185 exactly, so a lot of support at 185. If it breaks below that, then there's 184.5, then potentially 182. But for now, it's surprisingly holding up quite nicely. Nvda is holding up nicely too. It managed to actually get its way back above the 50 and the 200, and now that it's hitting this like 436 area, the next resistance is going to be closer to this 437 zone. So we're going to be watching 437 carefully. If it breaks that, 440 could come for Nvidia. But for now, it's fighting some resistance. There's going to be tough resistance between where it is right now and 437. So watch those areas very, very carefully. But for now, it's holding up very, very nicely. It's well above VWAP. Looks good for Nvidia. Meta is also looking pretty decent. I got this nice drop right here, and I told you guys to watch this level around 276, and it could even go down to like 272, but it didn't go that low. It ended up just bouncing off this previous resistance, which became support. After bouncing off, we saw a lot of buyers step in. Meta continued to pump, and now Meta is holding up nicely again. It's going to have this resistance right around this range between this 285 to 284 range. This entire range right here has some tight resistance. If it manages to break this, we could see this thing get closer to about 287.5 way up here. So it has a lot of potential still. It still has lots of strength. Watch it carefully. If it fails to break it, then we have support at 281, 280.26, and then 280.5. All right, guys. So thank you all for listening. That's what I have for this video. Let me just remind you all that Jerome Powell is going to be speaking tomorrow. What he says is going to shake the markets, and I can't really predict what he's going to say. He could pump the markets, or he could cause the market to get a big rug pull. I don't know what Powell's going to say on his testimony. Hopefully, he doesn't try to say anything too insane. I mean, I have a feeling he's going to avoid trying to, be too contentious or anything like that. And we'll just be patient. For now, thank you all so much for listening. I want the best for everyone. Watch the levels very carefully, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Market to the moon as the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.